on the News Channel 5 network. This is OpenLine.
Hello everyone, welcome to OpenLine. Good show tonight. We are going outside of Nashville, outside of Davidson County, and we are going up to Montgomery County tonight. There is a debate going on in Montgomery County about whether to build an event center in Clarksville. And so we want to really dive into that. And certainly if you have an opinion, give us a call. We want to hear from you. I'm very happy to have with us the mayor of Montgomery County, Jim Durrett. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ben. Good to be here.
Appreciate it. Clarksville, fifth largest city in the state of Tennessee. And Montgomery County is what?
Seventh largest county.
Seventh largest county. So you all are growing.
We are.
You're big. And what is it that we're talking about here? This is an event center. How do you define event center? What are we talking about?
Well, it's a multi-purpose event center. So it's a facility that, as we have it proposed now, we'll have 2 sheets of ice in it. One will be the main sheet of ice, and then there'll be a secondary sheet of ice that we're kind of calling the public ice, where we can do maybe hockey leagues, junior hockey stuff, hockey lessons, those type things, ice skating, which is becoming very, very popular. Yeah, and then, if we want to put dirt on it and have a rodeo, we can have a rodeo.
And why do you feel like now is the time to do this?
Ben, I've lived in Montgomery County my whole life, been in government there a long time. I don't consider myself a politician. Some people might, but I don't. But I worked for the city of Clarksville for 31 years, and we've lacked that destination point. And, we have too many people that leave our community on the weekends and during the weeknights that come to Nashville or go to Paducah for some type of entertainment, and we don't have a venue to provide that.
And so tell us again, so our point of reference here in Nashville, would this be like Bridgestone Arena? Is that kind of what we're talking about, or what are you thinking there?
On a very scaled down version.
Okay.
It's not going to be like Ford Ice Center. Ford Ice Center has 2 sheets of ice, but basically it's a facility where they go and have leagues and do those type things. This will be an arena type venue that'll have anywhere from a concert with a center stage, could probably seat about 9,000 people. For a basketball game, probably in the 6,000 range. For a hockey event, maybe a little bit smaller than that because of the players' boxes, they encroach outside of the ice a little bit more. Do all kinds of things. Do a flat floor show, boat shows, gun and knife shows.
And what have you learned? I mean, I looked at how you're going to pay for it, and there's several ways we can get into how you're going to pay for it. Some sales tax money that is generated by the center itself helps pay for it. And we can talk about how you're going to pay for it. And I know some people are concerned about that. Some of those things mirror some things we've seen here in Nashville. What have you learned, if anything, from what we've done here in Nashville? Are you taking any lessons from here, or is this kind of just all on your own, or kind of what have you kind of garnered from our experience?
Well, I don't believe in reinventing the wheel, and so yes, we've learned a lot from what's happened in Nashville, specifically with the Music City Center. We looked at when we did a feasibility study, the same company that did the study for the Music City Center did our study as well. And we found that out through some contacts in Nashville who they were. So we reached out to them, and then we looked at how Nashville funded the Music City Center as well. And so the different revenue streams, obviously there's some Uber, there's some car rental things that they use. I think they have about 8 or 10 funding sources. We don't have that yet, but I think we've got funding sources that'll more than satisfy the debt on it.
If somebody said, we can't afford this in Montgomery County, we can't afford this, what do you say to them?
I say we can. And I think one of the key selling points of our whole funding plan is that 2/3 of the dollars will be generated by the facility itself. And when I say that, hotel motel tax is obviously a big source, and we had some legislation done last year where we increased our percentage of the hotel motel tax from 5% to 8%. And so those funds in our resolution that we brought before our county commission, they are 100% dedicated towards a multi-purpose event center. So if we don't build it, those funds go away. We have a seat user fee that's pretty typical with any venue. We have a tenant fee that's typical with venues. We're capturing the sales tax within that's typical with any venue. And then obviously naming rights is a huge one as well.
And so that is part of the package that pays for this. Is money going to come out of the general fund? Would there be a need for a property tax increase or a tax increase in some way? What about concerns there?
No, the only thing we're doing that anybody could maybe question property taxes. If you look back historically at what's happened in Montgomery County in the last 10 years, we've been very successful from a recruiting standpoint. We've landed some really big global companies, Hankook Tire, LG. As a matter of fact, today we had the grand opening of LG's new washing machine facility there in Montgomery County, and Google. And so when you have those type of industries or businesses come to your community, usually there's some type of incentive that goes along with it, and most of the time it's a pilot payment, so it's a payment in lieu of taxes. And so what we did years ago, we being Montgomery County and the city of Clarksville, we invested in a lot of land, we invested in a lot of infrastructure to the tune of about $34 million. And so we're taking a portion of those pilot payments and basically reinvesting them in ourselves, just like we would if we were buying land for an industrial prospect.
And I think we have some pictures of it, so maybe we can show some renderings and that kind of thing. This thing is going to go right downtown, is that right? And there. So is there, kind of point out what we're looking at there?
Well, what you're looking at the bottom of the screen is about 3 years ago, we bought a full block of property and developed it into green space right smack dab in the middle of our downtown. And so that's called the Downtown Commons. And so that's the green that you see at the bottom of the picture where the number goes across the screen. And then obviously catty corner from that is the multipurpose event center. Just off the screen would be the river along Riverside Drive. And so that's kind of where we're proposing it to be. And I think if you look historically at venues like this, they work downtown. That's where they work.
Well, and that's, I'm seeing an opinion piece here. Downtown Events Center could be a disaster in the making. And it goes through several things. Downtown Clarksville is not conducive to these sorts of developments. And then they mentioned some other places. They think the abandoned Frosty Morn property or a Vulcan property soon to be available. So let's go through. Downtown Clarksville is not conducive to these sorts of developments. What do you say to that?
I say that writer is wrong. And I don't mean that ugly, but it is. If you look around communities that have built these type facilities, they're all built in their downtown. And I think really for a community to be vibrant and be growing and continue to grow, your downtown's your heart, and you have to have a core. And we've been missing that core since the tornado in '99. And so this is reinvesting in our downtown. It's the only place in our county, with the exception of this year, where our property values have decreased.
Okay. And again, sort of the vision for this, there's a partnership, and tell me if I'm wrong, is it with the Predators? Is that right?
With their management company.
With the management company. So how does that work, and what does that mean as far as the hockey team, the Nashville Predators?
Well, what we're looking at, really two partnerships. One being with the Predators Management Organization, and that would be an arrangement. When we reached out to them probably 2.5, 3 years ago and said, hey, we're thinking about doing something downtown. What's your interest? And Sean Henry, the CEO at the time, said, hey, we'll do anything from come down here to freeze water to managing a facility. And so those conversations have been going on for the last 2.5, 3 years. And we're not at the point where we're ready for each to sign on a dotted line, but we're in conversations about what that arrangement will look like. And then also our local university, Austin Peay State University, they want to bring all their basketball games off campus and play them in this facility. And so they'll be our tenant fee that I talked about earlier about one of our funding sources. And they're in the facility they're in now is the Dunn Center. It's 50 years old. It's not. It's a place people pull up and park. They go in. They don't even go to the concession stand. They watch a basketball game and they leave. So when you have an event center, it becomes an event. It's not a game anymore. Mm-hmm. And so people come and they mill around downtown. They go to the game. Maybe afterwards they go mill around downtown again.
And what is the timetable for this? Assuming things move along as you would like, what is the time frame?
Well, we've been before our county commission. We've got approval to purchase the land. We'll have to go back to the county commission to fund the land purchase. But we're entering into sales agreements with the property owners. And so I think if everything continues along, we would probably be looking at somewhere maybe construction starting in early to mid-spring of 2020, with hopefully construction being finished around the fall of 2021.
Okay. And how confident are you that's going to happen?
Very.
Very.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a big change.
It's huge
for Clarksville and for Montgomery County. Why have the county do it? Why can't, I guess, Clarksville do it? What's the argument there?
Well, I think part of that was politics. The previous mayor, and I'm not going to go into that a whole lot, but I don't think we saw eye to eye. And when I was elected in 2014, Ben, one of the things that and I get beat up about it some, and I understand that, but that's okay. But when I ran, I said that if something happens good in the middle of downtown Clarksville, it's in the middle of Montgomery County, so it's good for Montgomery County. And so, I think previously we being the county, had looked at everything outside of the city limits. But, I mean, the majority of our population of our county is inside the city, and they pay county taxes just like the people out in the rural areas do. And so, and I think it's a venue for everybody. Everybody may not like hockey. Everybody may not like basketball. Everybody may not like concerts, but maybe they like a boat show, or maybe they like a Circus Soleil, or maybe they like a circus. And so this facility allows us to do all that.
Very interesting. All right, well, that kind of sets the table for this. And now we'll open up the phone lines. I encourage you to call in. There's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. What are your thoughts? What are your questions? A chance to talk with the county mayor. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.